Okay, I think we're good. Let me make sure I can hear everything. Hey, what's up? Thank you. Thank you for paying. Thank you for hanging out today. We are getting ready to go out and feed the chickens. I'm just getting everything prepped for the channel to start. Got to get one more thing, and we'll be heading outside and such. So I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am having a great day. Yeah, I really enjoyed running it as a B&B. It was one of my favorite, definitely one of my favorite things that I used to do. Kind of sad. Kind of sad I don't get to do it as much anymore, but I've got some ideas. I might try to build another house. I might try to build a little cabin or something else in the future and run another one. Or just do something similar to that. So, whew, it's a little chillier than, this is only like the second time I've been out today. It's a little chillier than I thought. It is, let's look at the thermometer. Right now, we have 28 degrees. There's about 28 degrees. There's about 4 inches of snow on the ground. But let me show you the sky. Got a beautiful sky. Beautiful sky. Winds whipping past. Lovely day. I do not indulge in psychedelic experiences. My significant other, she does, but I do not, and I would say that I think the reason I don't indulge in psychedelic experiences is because I can do a whole lot with my own mind, and I can put myself into crazy scenarios without having to have any enhancement to doing that. But I have some friends that's told me some of that. A lot of times I was the babysitter when it came to my friends that would do that kind of stuff, so that might have a little role in it as well. But you can learn some cool stuff. I'll let you know. Like, you can learn some awesome stuff by being involved in a good psychedelic experience. You can find out a lot about yourself and a lot of inner peace and inner knowledge and such. So I am a I'm a fan. I'm just not a partake. I'd rather be that shaman that leads people through it, if that makes any sense. The craftsman that makes the everything. Hey, thanks for the lemon. Okay, so first plan of action today. Got some of the ducks. Some of these guys, this is their first time out really seeing snow, so they love it. Yes, a trip sitter. That's a good way to put it. So our first plan of action today is going to be collecting water because I need I know that everybody's going to need water today. So we're going to start off with that. Give it another minute or so for any stragglers that are going to jump in here, and we can talk a little bit about the Appalachian winters and why I love winters down here. And we can also derail the conversation and talk about just about anything under the sun. Those ducks are in a row, yes. You know, it's funny. Sometimes ducks will spend a lot of times in a row. So, like, especially when they sit on things, they make really funny little things. So there's probably a lot of truth to that silly little phrase, get your ducks in a row. Though I can tell you if it's something you have to do, it's not going to happen. What I like about snow is I like the texture, and I like as silly as this sounds, I like the way it hugs around your feet, and it's just a fun thing to walk in because it's so kind of different than your everyday life. So what we're doing, I'm just filling up. This is my cistern that catches rainwater and groundwater and the spring water and everything like that. So we're just filling this bad boy up for the ducks. Clouds are absolutely whipping past today. Get that up there while I... So anything new with anybody today? Anything super exciting? I've been busy most of the day, so if there's something crazy that's happened in the world or in the news or anything like that, I'm going to say that I missed it. So okay, that one's almost full. Let's move over here to the next one. I'll carry this one. Oh yeah, this is a lazy way to get rid of snow. So that's just a tactic. So I don't get my hands wet or snowy. Lazy. Lazy, lazy, lazy. And I don't mind it. Lazy tactics are good, are fun. So Appalachian winters, that's where we're at. Sorry that I screamed that really loud. Appalachian winters. So here in Flat Top, we average roughly 100 inches annually of snow. The most I've ever got at one time was about 30 inches, which was during a Superstorm Sandy, and I lost power for over a week, and that was absolutely crazy. But having that much snow on the ground is really cool. I really like having that much snow. Winters are cold, so the coldest on average that it normally gets is you'll see about -10, -11 Fahrenheit. So we'll have I'm looking forward to March or early February, because in early February we have days that it doesn't get above zero, and there's something just really awesome about going out and hiking on those days and breathing in that sub-zero or at zero temperature, and it just I think I can breathe better. It hurts at first, but then you just really get those nice good deep breaths in, and it's just great. Okay, so I'm gonna do one more fun experiment here. Oh, I'm gonna swing the camera around because we're gonna put my case on it so I can walk with it, so you guys get to be a body cam for a minute. Oh, I had it the right way the first time. Okay, no longer upside down. I hope not. Okay, I can't see I can't see anything you're typing at the particular moment, so I'm sorry if I missed that. And let me body cam you a little bit better so you're not so looking at the ground, more looking straight forward. Okay, cool. $10-gallon. Well, it's actually 12 because these are about 6 gallons. So, see, who needs to work out and go to a gym and pay all that money? You just need to be a farmer and have to walk through heavy snow and over crazy terrain, carrying water and hay and feed and ducks and wood. And of course, they get right out of the way when they see you coming. Watch out, Doctor. Okay, whoa. Well, that was interesting. Sorry, didn't realize I zoomed in on the camera so much when I went for a walk. You want to talk about horrible shaky camera? There you go. You are welcome for today's excitement of that's an art piece, we're gonna call it. That is water walk on farm. Too bad it won't be worth like $100,000 like duct taping a banana to a wall does. Anyways, I'm catching my breath now. And we're gonna feed the rabbits next. Because they're the next easiest thing to do after I've walked. Oh, silly ducks. So, one thing I like about winters here in Appalachia is, in most cases, once winter kicks in, you know that winter's here. This winter's doing an okay job of living up to it. We've been a little rainier and a little warmer than normal, but in general, it's not been actually too awful. It's not been awful. Yeah, tongue-tied. Not been too awful bad. So winter also means that I can focus more on thinking and less on getting out there and doing stuff. Exciting, right? I don't focus so much on just go, go, go. Because sometimes when you're just too the high 90s, and over time that just kind of leads to not getting things done as efficient or as good as you do it. These are going to be for the year. This is also the time for my classes and such that I teach. working super slow today. And that was the secret of the universe. No, my internet has been this last week. My internet has been just absolutely horrid, and I have no idea why. It has just been locking up and not doing anything. I can't even tell if it's, there we go. Yep, it's working now. So sorry about that. We should be back. We should be fixed. I'll probably cut out again. Soon. We're just gonna say soon. Soon we're gonna do a radio. Soon I'll do a show inside the house where I have complete control over everything, and we shouldn't have the issues with the internet cutting out and blocking up and all the other ridiculously silly things that happens. So that is the downfall to living in Appalachia, is sometimes your internet does not do what you ask it to do. But then again, I'm not stuck in a city surrounded by lots of crazy people that are having crazy thoughts. So, give and take. So where was I? I don't think I was actually anywhere. I think I was probably just rambling on about caving or being, I was talking about caving. So, one winter, I was in northern central West Virginia. We went caving. We went into the cave. We were in there for about 8 hours. We came out, and there was so much snow on the ground. I didn't even know where our car was parked. I had a white car at the time. It was covered. There were snowdrifts everywhere. It was absolutely insane. And we had no idea it was going to snow. Like, the weather report didn't say anything about getting all that snow or anything of that sort. So it was just it was ridiculously silly. It was cool because I love snow. It was ridiculous silly. We actually had to stay in the cave for an extra 2 days so that we could, because the side road that we got on wasn't really passable. So we had to actually stay in camp and hang out in the cave for an extra 2 days before we could get away and leave and go back to, you know, civilization and life. But that happened to us quite a few times on a lot of my different ventures. So it's nothing that I have found odd or anything of that sort. So, okay, so, oh, I wanted to show you guys something since I'm here in the barn. I was, if you were listening to the Ugly Jew's channel last night, and if you're not listening to the Ugly Jew, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time in the evenings, be there. Awesome show. But I was talking with the show last night. We were talking about squatting toilets and such like that. So let me show you. This is called a Sato Pan. So this actually, you cement all the way around this, and then you put feet things here, and you squat down. And then this is actually designed for when you're building toilets in third world countries, so that you can have it a lot more sanitary, and you don't have to worry about this kind of stuff. But you put a counterweight on this, so you would put like a piece of cement or a rock or something like that. And then when the urine and the poop get used, it does the automatic flush, and then with the counterweight, it closes it back. So that's what these are called. These are called Sato Pans. So they're usually sit in this kind of motion, so that if you pee, the urine goes this way, and you squat over that, and everything falls down, and poop falls out, and it closes back. So that's a Sato Pan. This one's actually from, I believe this one is from, this one I am pretty sure is from India. No, this one might be from, I don't remember what country this one's from. So those actually, what's interesting though is it's really hard to, that thing that I just showed you, the Sato Pan, really hard to find here in the United States. So, but that's what mostly you're going to see in a lot of third world countries, squatting toilets and things of that sort. So we're working on some. One of the nonprofits I work with is we build composting toilets for third world countries, or we build composting toilets for the really off-grid, rural, poor, or folks that want to live off-grid and such. We build toilets and such for them. So one of the things that we do vermiculture composting. So what your worms actually break down your shit, and that's one of the plans that we're working on for certain particular areas is the squatting toilet and seeing how that works compared to some of the other techniques and some of the other stuff that we do. So if you're interested in all of this kind of stuff, right there, my website, the Mavis Institute, you can jump on there, and under the workshop stuff, there's stuff that's a VMP, and you can read about that, and if you're interested, I can tell you more about it and such. So, and I will say though, once you have like, if you've ever went to an outhouse or a pit toilet or one of those nasty things that you see at parks, using these vermiculture toilets and the technique that we use to build it, man, are they so much better. They don't have a smell, the toilet's cleaner. It's just really, it's a lot better way. We're working actually with the parks around here trying to get to replace these stupid ass pit toilets that everyone has, because they're absolutely damn nasty, and I'd like to get rid of them. And so that's one of my side hobby slash, well, I can't say it's a business because I don't profit off of it. It's one of my side hobbies that I do, and teaching people how to do things of that sort. But yes, it was going back to what you said just a few minutes ago. Yes, you found the perfect time to jump in. Jumped in right when we were having toilet talk. So let's go feed the bunny outside, because that one I know is hungry, and that's where we're at this particular point. So how is everybody again? Because I know that I've noticed that we have a few new people. I had a follow, and I'm sorry that I missed your name, follower, but thank you for following, and welcome. If you're new around here, we go out, and here's the guys. I was in a barn, and then here is, stepping right outside the barn, here is all the ducks. You give them some popcorn, or? I did. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I gotta feed the bunny out here, so. I brought 2 things of water in there for you. Yeah. Oh, so this is our one of our barns. This is our pallet barn. It's kind of a mess right now. Well, it's winter and a lot of things are a mess right now. But I built this entire barn. Well, I can't say I. We built this entire barn because I had some friends definitely come and help. And we built that out of wooden pallets. So actually, I do have bald eagles. I saw a bald eagle fly by, but let me show you why I don't. Let me get this bunny fed, and then I'll show you why I don't worry so much about eagles and aerial predators so much here. Hi, little bun bun. Okay, so you were asking about hawks and bald eagles and aerial predators. So if you look carefully, you'll see a bunch of trees, and then there's trees there, and there's a bunch of everything going on. If you jump back and you look at some of my older streams, or you jump back and you look at an aerial view of this place, you will see that we would actually be walking in shade right now. So during the summer months, we would be the hawks and stuff actually can't get to the ground. They can't get down here because there's too much stuff above them, and I grow lots of plants and stuff. And such like that. So are you asking if it's a lot of work? Depends on what you consider work. During the summer months, I spend most of the day outside working in the barn, working on the farm, doing a bunch of stuff. And so it's like that. As I was mentioning earlier, during this time of year, I get to do a little bit more resting because I'm not quite as busy this time of year because I don't have so much outside stuff to tend to. So that's cool that you're. So I'll answer the things about the eggs in just a second. So yeah, one of the things, and this is just advice general to anybody that's going to get into homesteading, raising animals of any sort. The very first most important thing before you do anything else is plan your fencing and do good quality fencing. Fencing that's going to not make you look back on yourself and be like, damn you for slacking at the fencing. Because fencing is probably the most important thing that you're going to have on your farm, because you're going to always find a reason to need it. So I made a lot of mistakes in fencing early on, and yeah. Yeah, I can, you, with all the different animals and all the different feeds and everything you just mentioned, I can imagine you've got a pretty rough day. I plan everything around what I do. So like right now, my feed, I'm down to 3 types of feed. I have my pig feed, my chicken feed, and my bunny feed, and I have them all organized and such like that. You were asking about the chicken eggs. The chicken and duck eggs taste different. I don't know if you're asking if they taste different than store-bought eggs, but farm fresh eggs absolutely taste different than store-bought eggs. Duck eggs have a richer taste than a chicken egg, and depending on where your ducks do, if your ducks free range more, I mean, if your ducks free range more, then they're still gonna they're gonna taste very similar to what a regular egg is, with just a little bit more. There's a little more strongness to it. If your ducks spend a lot of time in the water and they're eating a lot of aquatic stuff, and we have a lot of aquatic stuff, the duck eggs are going to have a little bit more of like a fishier, shrimp, lobstery taste to them. So, okay, wow, yeah, 30 acres of cows and horses. I I was a city kid, so all the steps that I'm doing when it comes to farming and homesteading is I'm doing a little at a time so that I don't get myself. And I mean, I'm doing this for 15 years, so it's when I say a little at a time, I need a little at a time. Um, and I go through each motion, and now that I'm teaching this and I'm going out and doing a lot of outreach programs and such like this, some of the big scale stuff that a lot of you folks do, that is just absolutely awesome. I probably won't get too much into. Like, I'm actually going to get cows probably, I would say, in the next 3 to 4 years. I've got an area that I'm really thinking about refencing off and designing for cows, but I want to get the Scotland Highlanders. They're the little fuzzy cows. I want to get some of those guys, and more because they're better to handle, but they're also a better way to show folks, so people can get a lot closer view of the cows and get to see them. And so that's kind of where I'm thinking about going to that route. I I have a weird balance that I have to do here, being doing the homesteading and doing the farming, and also wanting to teach folks that don't know anything about where their food comes from or anything. I walk this fine line. Okay, that's cool. Upper Michigan, and actually all of Michigan. So there's some, Michigan has some really cool farmland, especially like cherry farms and such. Cycle back around what I was saying. So a lot of times I have to do a lot more getting people acclimated to being into the farm life. I'm also trying to show people that it's possible to do on a budget, that you can do on a very small scale, that you don't need a lot of money, that you can start off with just a few acres, and that this is doable for everyone, so that you're not actually tied or trapped to that 9 to 5 job, and that you can, with the right proper steps and good planning, you can do this on a very small budget and do some really, really awesome stuff. Gildo, you asked me a question earlier today, and I was gone. You asked it on my chat. I don't remember. If you can remember what you said, um, you can ask it again, or you can hit me up on Discord. But I just want everybody to know that it doesn't matter where you live. If you can get a little bit of land, you can even do some small. You can find a way to do some really basic small scale farming. Like I am working really diligently doing I'm really diligently trying to figure out some different tactics so that I can teach those of you guys that are trapped right now in the city, or maybe not even trapped is the wrong word, that you're just folks that want to be city folks because you're not quite ready to move out into the country and such. I want to be able to have, um, even if you even if you just want to grow something and be a little bit of a very small scale, I'm trying to figure out ways that you can be a farmer in your tiny little apartment on your desk. So those are the tactics that I'm really working on right now. How if you've got a balcony, be a container farmer, and then your hands dirty. Get your hands dirty and just really get in there and do some stuff. You know, it's funny we were talking about that. We were actually going to get a hold of some of the different types of granaries and chickeneries and such like that, and do some rescue chickens for the folks, because we got the room for the chickens, and I just think it'd be fun to do the rescue chickens. And my significant other, she thinks it's important that we do rescue stuff like that. So we will we're gonna probably do some of that in the very near future, because sometimes she has the better ideas, and so I should just go along with them. We're also going to be adding greenhouses and such this year, so I've been asking some different people for some advice and such. Okay. I need to go out there and I have to find where my water thing is, because I need to give everybody water, and I have no idea where I put my watering thing. So let's head out this way and get some water and such. So, yeah, I was going to be involved in 4-H. So, but there's a lot of kids down here that do the 4-H and there's a lot of people that get really involved with the 4-H. The only issue I have with the local 4-H and such is, just as I did when I was a master gardener, is Monsanto still has a lot of big say in this particular area, and there's a lot of stuff when we're talking about certain things. They're not necessarily the way. They're not necessarily in the ways that I would naturally teach or direct people. So sometimes I'm not the best role model for folks that are trying to live more what the community is accepting. But I have some kids that I'll do some outreach programs and such. Oh yeah, yeah, dude. The lag here, just so you know, the lag here is unbelievable. I'm just gonna. It's because I'm streaming a stream, so that's why you're gonna see. That's why you're gonna see a crazy lag. Sorry, I'm working on that right now. This is the best way I know to stream on multiple. I know how to stream on multiple sites. I think the lag is 19 seconds, is last I looked. So yeah, I can see that. West Virginia is just very rural and very poor and very rural and very poor. I'm just gonna say that that's probably the nicest way to put it. People are great. Land is great. People's great. Great atmosphere. It's just we're not. We got no major cities, so there's lots of stuff, and a lot of other stuff. I saw that you mentioned something about organic. I can't say I'm an organic farmer, but I don't use any petrochemicals of any sort. I actually don't usually use any type of fertilizer. I don't use any type of like fertilizer other than my chicken or rabbit hay or anything of that sort. That's actually what I use most of the time for fertilizer. And again, I'm not knocking. Please don't understand. Please don't mistaken. Going back to the 4-H thing. Please don't mistaken that I'm knocking the 4-H. I think it's a great program. I just there's ways I do it, and I just would rather not get in any type of argument with folks and just want them to get to do it the way they seem fit because I just want people to get out there and more people farming and doing what they need to do. And if that currently means that step one is just getting them out and doing stuff and not so much worried about how they're doing it, then if they come to me and we want to talk about why I don't use Monsanto, Roundup, anything of that sort, then we can have good conversations like that. So let's go get some water because I need another thing of water. Well, Lisa must be in there feeding because I don't see any ducks. Yeah, see, I have not done farm. Like, I started off, I was a city kid. I grew up in the inner cities, and then I lived in the suburbs for a little while, very small while. And then I purposely chose to come learn to farm and to become a farmer and to do stuff outside. And so I have a completely different way of doing things because I learned farming at a different stage than other folks. So, and I also don't mind failing. I think that it's a good way to know how not to do things. So I will say that I do two, I mostly do permaculture farming right now. I love the idea of permaculture. And then the other thing I do is I like to go through my old farming books and old farming things about from the 17 and 1800s and look at the techniques and such that they did and find ways to do that. That's awesome. So yeah, 37 acres in Wisconsin. I would suggest with the diversifying all of the stuff on the grid. I like the idea of trying to find as many different ways as possible because there's some pretty like sticking with just one makes you vulnerable. What I've learned. Okay, hopefully that didn't screw up my sound or my feed. We will see. Yep, locked up. Dang it. Give me a second. Okay, unlocked up. Good, 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 good. But yeah, when it comes to the off-grid stuff, especially with power and what your animals and such are going to use, I would just say do lots of well planning out what you're going to do and figure out the best way to plan around. Like I start off simply with I started off with ducks, chickens, and rabbits, and I would say that's a good way to start. Get to know animals. Okay, good. You can hear me? Great. Thank you, Jill. So ducks, chickens, rabbits is a good way to start. I would definitely add bees to your mix. So I would love to have goats, but everybody that I known that's had goats, all the goats are crazy escape artists, and I would rather my goats not be running around on the road and things of where I live. So that's what makes me a little nervous about goats. Sheep are what I'm next thinking about getting, and then like I said, I'd really like to get um, the Scotland Highlanders, those little cows. Hey man, thanks from Minnesota. Thanks for the love. And yeah, rabbits are great, especially if you can get to the point where you can eat your rabbits or you can sell your rabbits to folks that want to eat and such. And they breed like crazy. And I would suggest if you don't mind them breeding like crazy, I would set up a warren. And what I mean by that is just an area where a bunch of rabbits can all live together. And you'll have plenty of rabbits. You'll be able to access them when you need it, and maybe keep a breeding pair around so that you can make sure that you have them when you need them, and they're not all eaten by predators. A lot of the rabbits that are in here are rabbits that were either injured or rabbits that we sell because they're just really cool. So we have lion heads, and they're more of a rabbit and more of a therapy rabbit, and have a different value than just necessarily eating. But then some of the other rabbits we have in here are just because they're just cool and they didn't want to live outside. So outside right now we have probably about 15 or 20 rabbits that just live around, running around the yard, do their thing. Most have found themselves really good shelters. We've had a couple batches of wild babies, is what I call them, the babies that are just running around and such like that. You know, I don't, I would think it's because of my pig, but I don't have as much of a problem with coyotes and foxes as other folks do. I always have a radio. I always have a radio going in all of my barns, or if there's some stuff outside, I'll put a radio outside right next to wherever the enclosure is. I also usually have some LED lights around. And then with the pig, and then I also have a couple layers of fencing and such. So it's I would say it's pretty wild where I live too. I've got a state park about less than 2 miles away. But you know, in fairness though, I do have an interstate. There is an interstate that's kind of passing through. Yeah, it's I think more and more of us wanting to get back, more and more of the folks out there and us and everything else wanting to get back to the basics and back to what it was like before we got caught into this grime of working 9 to 5 for someone else. And while there is some value in it, especially if you love what you're doing, It's just sometimes there's more to life. Sometimes you want to do more than just go to work and blah. Like, yeah. Now again, if you've got a job that you're doing something awesome and you really enjoy it, that's one thing. Or you're helping people. Right. Hold on, I just need to make sure I got everybody water. That's the biggest thing I'm focusing on right now. So that's why my awesomely produced series, streaming series that you all get to watch and experience and marvel. Oh, thank you, Alaska, for the ice cream. Only a few more days, and we'll understand how our donations and such will actually work. You definitely have. You sound like you've had the full farm life, and that is really. I'm gonna say that's really cool. Oh, we absolutely need to be in the sun. And yes, the 9 to 5 is something that I think is a trick to us, is a trick to try to keep us slaves to ourselves. Because I know that I've worked a 9 to 5 a couple times, but most of my favorite jobs or most of the favorite stuff I did was being outside and working with my hands. When I was younger, I really thought I wanted to do stuff with computers and just work with computers and such like that, and I learned quite a few skills because of that. But after I got outside and realized how much I love like just being outside in nature and doing stuff, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to be doing all the time. And even if it's cold outside. And such. Yeah, see, my childhood was completely different than all of that. So I was like I said, inner city for a while, then a suburb, and then lived in the suburbs. So I lack a lot of skills that a lot of good country kids have, or older country kids, or older country folks have. I lack a lot of those skills, and I'm just trying to learn them now as I get older. Yeah, thank you so much. No, thank you so much. Yeah, I think we'll be able to convert it to. I think we'll be able. I have faith that something awesome will work out with the D Live stuff, and we'll make it all. We'll make it all really cool. And again, this is also. I've offered this to just about everyone out there. If you're on Discord, or you see my Discord link and such down there. If anybody ever needs help with crypto and wants to know a little bit more about it and setting up your own wallet so you can take advantage of all the craziness, let me know. But anyways, back to farming. Oh, up by Lake Superior. That's 3B. 3B is I'd have a tough time growing some stuff in 3B. I don't. I think I'm 5. Well, I say I'm 5C here, but I'm a microclimate. Okay, that's cool. See, I have no problem with the migrant farmers and the stuff with using people that are skilled in a particular area and then, trading them or paying them in a way that makes everything, where everything works out really well for both parties. Because if someone's happy with what they're being paid and you're happy with the service that they're providing, I think that's honestly a win-win. I think we worry and all the politics behind all that and all the silliness, we just worry so much about that. If everybody's happy and folks are getting what they need, then we should be good to go. But yeah, 3B, man. What's the cold at 3B? What is the extreme cold that you get to? Actually, yeah. Blue Mule. I actually am planning on getting greenhouses this year, or something like a greenhouse. I still haven't quite figured out what my tactic is just yet, but I want to do some year-round growing and do some stuff. I want to grow some stuff that I can't normally grow outside because of where I'm at. So I have some interesting plans that I want to try to do with that. I don't currently know a whole lot about it, but that's I don't know like about greenhouse growing. I do some I do a little bit of aquaponics growing, and I do some my permaculture growing. But the greenhouse is the next to try to learn a little bit. Water, 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 water. Everybody is watered up, so we are good to go. I need to plug this in because my phone is getting low. Just there we go. There's let me know that we're at a low stage in the game. Okay, we can talk for another few minutes. Also plan on trying to get interns this year because, well, anybody that does any type of farming understands that trying to do a bunch of large-scale stuff with only a few people, and I'd love to hire local, but there's not a lot of folks around here that would want to do any of the stuff that I want to do. So that's funny. Yeah, so, I think that's what you were asking before, Gildo. You were asking about the radio and the Christmas lights. Hey, Mark, thank you so much for the ice cream. You're asking about the Christmas lights and the radio. So, in every one of my chicken coops, I always have Christmas lights going. I have a radio light. Always have Christmas lights on, and I always have a radio going. And I use LED Christmas lights, and I use the colored LED Christmas lights. And the reason I use the colored LED Christmas lights is after doing some research, I've researched a variety of stuff. -30. And I do that because I've learned that the different color spectrums can hurt the chicken's eyes and they can see things differently, where the whole different types of Christmas lights, that whole color spectrum, some of the lights they can see, some they can't, and I don't worry so much about that. Because I do know, like, if you add, I think it's too much red light into no. Yeah, I think it's red. If you add too much red light into a chicken barn, you can actually get your chickens to peck each other. And that's not a bueno. That's not a bueno thing. I think the red light, I don't know, drives them crazy or makes them angry. And the other thing is they can actually. This is the one thing that does make me a little nervous with Christmas lights, but that's also why I do the Christmas lights and things of that sort. But they said that they can actually see the blinking, because if you ever would record Christmas lights, you can actually see how they're pulsating if you slow it down. And I've told that, but it's never seemed to affect any of my guys, and my guys have grown up with it their entire life, so it might be just one of those things they're used to. But I do the Christmas lights because the chickens seem to be calmer, and in each of their cages they can find places to get into dark if they wanted. But it keeps my egg laying up, so my egg leg doesn't really drop, except maybe during the extreme temperature swings. The egg laying doesn't really drop too much. So that's actually why that's why I keep the lights on there, and then I keep the radio for the predators, because having a radio play does a fairly good job of keeping the raccoons and the coyotes and the stuff from getting into my barn throughout the course of the nights or the days. So that's why I do that. And I've been, knock on wood, I've been really lucky with not losing too many animals to predators and such. Most of the time, if I'm going to lose an animal to a predator, it's because some crazy dogs have somehow figured out a way into my yard and such like that. Yeah, disco chickens. I don't have weasels or minks here, or if I do, they don't come anywhere close to bother me. That being said, I will also add that if an animal with one of my chickens dies, I actually take them. I take them fairly back away from the away from the farm, and I have a couple spots where I will I'll put, well, I say I compost it, but it's pretty much I just put some hay on top of a dead chicken, and I'll put those kind of as like a food offering just outside, just far enough away from my barn, with usually some type of major natural and artificial barrier between them and everything else. And I've noticed that I think that does a pretty good job. -20. Wow. Yeah, I haven't got negatives yet. I'm looking forward to negatives. I'd like to experience it a couple times a year, but -20, that's tough. Yeah, I don't have a problem with bears, and I've even had beehives, and there's been bears going through not very far away from me, and I've never had to worry anything about the bears. Again, knock on wood. Hopefully, I never do. I think it has everything to do with my pig. I think she does a great job of keeping the bears and the larger animals like that. Her being an apex animal, so that's one of the things that I think is important when having a pig. And she's about 600 pounds. So yeah, but the one nice thing about working outside when it's really, really cold is there's just something great about breathing in that fresh, cold air. It just really helps open up your lungs and helps you makes you feel alive. Maybe in ways that you don't want to feel alive, but it definitely makes you feel alive. Yes, I'm clicking on my phone. I'm trying to see what the battery life. I was trying to see what the battery life is. It was too small. Yeah, no, no, that's the downfall of being super cold. Is I absolutely agree with anybody that's a farmer or anybody that's had to work outside. When you get so cold, even with gloves, and you can't pick stuff up, that's when it's not fun anymore. It loses any ounce of fun because you know that whatever project you're working on, whatever project you're working on is absolutely dire because you actually wouldn't be out there in that cold of weather trying to fix whatever just broke. And of course, it's a it's always a major project when you have to fix something in super cold temperatures. Like that's when the pig gets out. So, and the fence breaks, or you have to, the barn door breaks off somehow, because that's all stuff that's crazy and fun that's happened to me in the past, and you just never really know what to expect. But yeah, you guys, now that I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of you guys, you're far more hardcore than I am. I will, those of you that have to make a living, that have families to support and have, major bills to pay, you guys kicking your butt and doing the farming, I that is awesome. -90 with wind chill. I can't imagine what that would feel like. That is absolutely insane. -90. Negative, I think it was negative like 32 with wind chill. Yeah, -32 with wind chill is the coldest I've ever experienced. And I, was outside for about 20, 25 minutes just because I wanted to be. That was a choice. So I can't imagine actually having to work out in that all day. That would, wow. That's, props to you, man. Even if it was younger and all the stuff, still props to you, man. That's awesome. I mean, it's awesome that you don't have to do it anymore, but awesome. It's cool. It's a cool story to tell about something you did. How about that? Yeah, right now I'm having just as much time, just having just as much fun reading what you guys have to say. This is the time that it's really sad that there is a 19-second delay. You guys just get to really, get your deep thoughts in, and you really get to ponder what you just wrote. Yeah, I don't know if it's. I don't think I've ever been so cold that I've never had a car not start. That Again, something I'd rather not experience in life. How about that? I know what it was like to be in the, the zeros without power in my house for a week, and that was very interesting. All my fish tanks, the, my fish tanks froze solid, and that was horrible. Okay, that makes sense. The oil freezes. Okay. Or the oil gets so absolutely thick that it doesn't move anymore. And the more and more we talk about winter, the colder and colder I'm getting. Why are we talking so much about winter right now? Because it's winter and I've got snow on the ground. That's probably why. Okay, we're gonna head back to the house. My phone is beeping at me again, telling me not bueno. Though we talk about that though. I will add Gildo. The problem with is I like winter, and if I move too far deep south and I never got to experience winter again, I I would not want to. I like cold to a certain extent. I like winter. I like the four seasons. A spot in Ohio, a spot in Ohio you call Florida? I'm not sure where that spot in Ohio would be because there's nothing about Ohio that I would say reminds me of Florida in any way. Ohio does get some stupid temperatures from time to time, but I've been over most of that. I've adventured around most of the state of Ohio. That's where I lived for an extended period of time, and I can't imagine ever calling it Florida. You must be talking about below Columbus. I need to. I'm gonna carry this back to the house right now. Okay, Tiffin. Okay, yeah, I can see that. I know where Tiffin is. You're getting close to. I grew up northeastern Ohio, so we were just right around the snow belt. So Toledo. I'm not gonna say anything about Toledo. I'm not a big fan of Toledo. It's a weird place. There's actually two drive-ins down here in southern West Virginia now. They're both a fairly decent drive for me. But there is one in a place called Speedway, and they do a drive-in, and then there's another one. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It snowed. We got 4 inches. So yeah, we got 4 inches since yesterday or the last time you watched the stream. So I probably should show that. That's far more exciting than just watching me walk to the porch. It's the temperature say up in the corner, 28. Yeah, so it's 28 right now. Yeah, we're supposed to get a little bit more snow this evening. I just don't know how much. So I think something like a 3 or 4. Ooh, what's that? Look at this weird thing. Let's see if we can see it go down the road. I'll zoom in. I don't know what it is. Let's see if we can guess. What do we think that is? I don't know what that is. It's pretty cool though. Okay, sorry. ADD kicked in there and won. Man, the delay is crazy. Okay, guys, I think it's starting to get cold, and I think I'm gonna start heading into the house. It was wonderful talking with you. Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny looking too. I'm not sure. Oh, you want to see the countryside again? Okay. And we'll look over here. Here's the mountain. Okay, guys, enough of that. Until later. I'm 3,500 is the house, and at the top of the mountain, about 3,600. So, anyways, I'll jump on here, guys, again later. And I'll jump on here. We'll chit chat a little bit later. And I will see you guys later. It's the Baron, Dr. Firefly, or Justin, whatever you'd like to call me. Till next time. Adios.